Hello, 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 my wonderful friends on YouTube. It's been a little bit. As you can see, we have a whole new, brand new environment. That's because we finally moved. We finally settled in. This is our game room that we've been working on. It still needs a couple of finishing touches, such as hanging this wonderful cowhide in our witch's hut here. Really short, sweet video today because, again, we moved and we've got a lot going on between care and keeping of the house, a lot of renovating. Hopefully getting a lot more miniature painting because I've got a lot more that have been drafted into the gray hordes, if you will, and taking care of a tiny little fluff ball that decided to be half dead in our garden one afternoon, and well, now he's ours now. Cut to some kitten pictures and videos if need be to appease the internet masses. Hello everyone, it's Bundok here, and it's been a while, hasn't it? Abijah says hello. But yeah, so today's video is gonna be a pretty simple one. I'm going to talk about 3 bad habits that you can make as a painter and that, in my opinion, you should try and avoid while appreciating this nice table here that I have half finished. So bad habit number 1, thinking there's nothing left to learn. So you might be, I've been painting for a couple of years now and I know how to put paint on, I know how to prime, I know how to dry brush, I can shade, I can wet blend, I can zenithal, I don't care, I've got everything down. Look, if I can work with funeral directors and embalmers who've been embalming for, 45, 35, even 25 years, I guess, on the lower end of the experience spectrum, I'll say, if they can accept that there is always something to learn, you can too. Now, I'm not saying you have to go and watch, beginner tutorials or, a back to basics video, but just watch someone else paint. It doesn't have to be an actual instructional. If you just watch someone else paint or you sit down and enjoy your time with them, you might realize they're doing, what are they doing there? What's that? They might have a tool. I'm sorry, I'm arranging my folks into our little school circle of who's our current active party. They might have a technique or a tool that isn't even necessarily made for painting that applies really, really well. You're like, gee, that's pretty nifty. I should do that. It's pretty handy. Nobody knows everything. Bad habit number 2, and I know I'm guilty of it, don't paint the same thing. Look, I know that I have this nice little beholder army here. I know that I've got a whole bunch of fantasy enemies, fantasy creatures. You're probably like, yeah, you don't paint anything else. I try. I've done some battle tech for people. I have some Warhammer minis that were actually just gifted to me for my birthday, which I'm going to have to get around to painting, and trust me, it is quite a few Warhammer minis. Somebody may or may not have gotten me the core starter set for some World Eaters. So go World Eaters if they're your preferred party. Don't paint the same thing. Even if you're not going to use them, you can find miniatures that, are for sale on Marketplace, are for sale on eBay that folks don't want anymore. Be it, okay, if you always paint fantasy, then there's mechs. If you always paint mechs, then there's fantasy. There's always something new. If you've only ever painted things for the tabletop, try a display. See if you can actually make something that you want to be a piece of art versus a functional piece. It gets a lot more difficult. At least personally for me it does. Maybe for you it comes as a breeze. But if you only ever paint the same thing, you're not going to necessarily think outside the box and learn new skills that can help you with things that you do want to paint all the time. Because I'll be honest, there's things that I learned when I was painting those first Warhammer pieces that you guys saw that looked oh so awful because they were a flat right prime and they were very, very bright to the point of pink versus red. But again, I learned something that I can then apply to the figures I do want to use all the time. Don't just do the same thing. If you make the same food, I mean, I guess if you're meal prepping for bodybuilding, that's fine, but you get bored, you get dull, you don't actually expand your knowledge. Paint outside the box. You might still stay in the lines just a little bit, but paint outside the box. Really, it'll be okay. Now, bad habit number 3, it kind of has a tie between a couple of things. But I think the thing that matters most is have more than one hobby. I'm not saying you have to be good at everything. I'm not saying you have to excel at everything you attempt, but do more than just paint. Don't have that be your only thing. Just like if you bake, don't have baking be your only thing. Well, speaking from experience, if cooking and baking is your thing, working out is a great secondary hobby. Otherwise, you get a little fluffy. But for instance, I wanted to build a table. I wanted a custom gaming table. I wanted us to have something that was ours, that was different, that was unique. And I didn't have, $9,000 to drop on a gaming table once we moved. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy some wood. I'm gonna make a gaming table. I don't have a ton of experience with woodworking. My father has done it for most of my life and I've helped him. And that's about where I learned everything other than trial and error or books. But I kind of want it to be my thing. I enjoyed it. There's a lot that needs done or needs fixed or needs revised for gaming table version 2, but this will make a great coffee table. But I also watch sumo. I want to develop a game that's about sumo because there's not a lot of RPGs or anything about sumo wrestling. I love reading. I like watercolor. But not all of your hobbies have to feed into miniature painting. They don't have to feed into one another at all. Obviously, some of them support each other, such as the aforementioned cooking and working out, but they don't have to be completely related to help you out. You also don't want everything tied together because then there's no escape. There's no break. Your brain is always going to be focused on something that is linked to something else, and it's going to stress the hell out of you. So have other things to do. Because I'll be honest, there's times I love miniature painting. Obviously, I want to bring people into this hobby. I want people to feel comfortable no matter what their ability level is, what they're trying to paint, what they're trying to do. Just come into the fold. It's a great time here. It's wonderful. Don't sniff all the fumes. Make sure you got ventilation, but otherwise it's great. You need a break sometimes. I love painting. I have this nice little glass cabinet now that you guys saw for all my miniatures. It makes me happy when I can sit down with my friends and they come up with a scenario. Here you go. I got something ready for you. Sometimes you need a break. Everyone needs a break. Everyone needs time off. Don't let your time off feed into that stress. If my hobby was painting miniatures and I decided my side hobby was going to be mixing paint, even if my break from painting miniatures is mixing paint, I'm going to be thinking about the paint I need to mix for the minis. Or color theory, or how will that all work together? And I don't need that. So sometimes I'll paint. Sometimes I'll go out on the smoker and make some ribs. Sometimes I'll build a table, or I'll go mow the grass, or work in the garden, or play with the cats, or play a whole bunch of computer games that aren't related to Dungeons and Dragons, or Fantasy, or Pathfinder, or just something completely different. And it's a break, and I come back, and I'm like, oh man, I really want to paint. And it doesn't feel like drudgery. Don't make it feel bad. Once it feels like a chore or a task or something you have to do, and yes, I see my errors here. Again, I told you I learned things. Once it feels like something you have to do, your next break, you're never going to go back to it. Because it's just going to be a weight versus something lifting other weights. So that's the best I can give you. So there you have it, my 3 bad habits for miniature painting. If you don't think they're so bad, let me know in the comments. If you can think of something worse, let me know in the comments. I know we've all got quite a bit of issues when it comes to our hobby, such as our sad little gray piles and half-painted cannons, which that's what I'm going to go and start working on. So if you enjoy this video, if you're ready for more constant content, come back, like, please subscribe, help me with the wonderful YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.